Mhm. So welcome to our academy. It's under Roy Consult Advisory. It is going to be a very long month. Maybe if we are not careful, it can even take about 2 months. I'll have to give you everything that you're supposed to know in Excel and financial modeling. Financial modeling is different from Excel. And last time, Victor, when he was inquiring on Excel, I told him, no, go to the market. You'll find people who are able to trade you in Excel because it's quite different. Financial modeling is an art, which all of us are supposed to know. For those that are in projects, for those that actually are in the business environments, for those that want to do a lot of simulations, I think it's just important that we get to know financial modeling. But before we get to know financial modeling, we need to understand Excel functions. We need also to know how efficiently we can actually use Excel. Excel is one of the most powerful tools. And as we move on, I'll be introducing you to things that you can't envision that they can be done using Excel. I've created numbers, where those numbers, as long as it's from 1 to 255, you are able to create an image using numbers. There's one person, if you go on YouTube, this is a Japanese person, an old man over 70, who retired. After retiring, he decided to start using Excel for his paintings. He's called Michelangelo of Excel because he's extremely good at drawing and uses Excel for his important drawings. So we underrate this particular software, so to say. It's very, very important. So in order for us to come up with all these financial models for decision making, modeling realities in uncertain environment, we need Excel and we need to know the functions. And this is why today I will dedicate this time just to look at the efficiency tricks. So maybe to start with, you can go in any cell, but let's just say you go in N8, go to cell N8. Check on your keyboard. On your keyboard, Kavava, just after control key, there's an FN key. After the FN key, there's what they call a Microsoft key before the out. It has that Microsoft symbol. I don't know if you have seen it.
Yes, I have.
Just hold that key and press on the full stop. The full stop, which is just after M, then there's a comma, then there's the other key. Just hold these two. Hold the Microsoft key and press the full stop. Just press it and release. You'll see it can give you all these things that you normally see and you use in your
on WhatsApp
and whatever. So Excel is able to do that.
Okay.
Now the guys have dropped off. I don't know if it's the internet or what.
Oh, it's becoming one-on-one class.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just one of those things that you can use. If I do this, I can pick any here. I can pick this hat and I have that. I can get in here and do the same thing, hold full stop, and I can have this. So I can decide what I want to pick here. Because if this, just trying to show you, if that equals to 1, give me the hat. Otherwise, give me this. So if I change that to 2, this is what I get. If I change it to 1, that is what I get. So you can use all these things whichever way you want to. But I know we'll go to the Excel functions and how to use them. But for now, it's just the tricks. I don't know what challenge they're having, these guys. I'm sure it's the internet.
Mr. Kabeza, are you able to go back to the formula I just did there if N11 is equal to 1?
Okay, let me just do this. Yes. Remove this part. So here, just go to N11. I know we'll be looking at these functions, but I'm sure you're excited. You just want to know what I was doing. Go to N11, just type 1. Then just below that, we can type an if function. First thing, I know I should repeat this the time that we'll be looking at logical functions. An if function has 3 things that you have to look at. One, it is the logical test. So if you are able to satisfy this logical test cover, what is the output? What is the result if this logical test is satisfied? Otherwise, what do you get? So in this case, if you open equals if, equals if, I know this is not part of the topic. I just want to quickly, we will be looking at these things in the next lecture. Yeah. So you have, I just want to show you what it is. You remind me when time comes when we'll be looking at this.
No problem.
So the logical test here, what I'm trying to say is, if this cell N11 equals to 1, if it is true, give me this heart. Otherwise, give me this. So meaning that if I change here to 2, I'll have that. If I change it to 1, I'll get this. But what I was trying to show you outside all this, what I was trying to show you that you can use the Microsoft key. You hold the Microsoft key, then you hold the full stop. You hold the Microsoft key, then you press on the full stop. You are going to have all these things you see on WhatsApp. Then you can decide what to put. Depending on the occasion, depending on the model that you have developed, maybe you want to show that if one is showing this malav, whatever, it means that things are okay in your company, whatever. But just wanted to show you that you have all these icons that you can easily use. Then we know that Excel is usually has columns in letters. Columns are in letters. Should I say not usually? Should I say usually? Or should I say always? The rows are in numbers, whereas the columns are usually in letters. It does not mean that the columns, they are always letters. You can change these columns into numbers so that you have a format that we call R1, C1. You can have this, meaning that row 1, C1, and that is a different format. So this is how you can get it. You can go to File, press on File. From File, you can go to Options. Under Options, you can go to Formulas. You have the first part here, which is Calculation Options. You ignore it, you go to the second part, which is working with formulas. Under working with formulas, you can check R1C1 reference style. Mostly we use it when you're doing your array formulas. R1C1, though it's not common finding people doing this. Then you can press OK. So do not get surprised if you find someone has given you a worksheet which has columns in numbers and rows are in numbers. He has just used the R1C1 format.
So that doesn't change anything. It just changes the numbering of
yes, but
the
even the way the formulas are, if I come here, I type, say, 45, then I show 2 here, then I want to multiply these two, you will see the formula that is going to be there. So if you check, let me just say equals formula text so that I show you the formula in there. This is the formula that is in there. Why? Because we have actually used a different referencing style, which is R1C1. Kabawa, is it okay?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So obviously we are used to this format because it is by default. You go to formulas, you uncheck the R1C1 reference style. We are used to this format. So now, if I get in here and say, instead of that format that we use, just to see the formula, this is the formula in this text.
Oh, okay.
So there are times when you are auditing, it is not always, Victor, that you'll be using your own spreadsheets that you have developed. There are times, and many times, there's a possibility, which is actually very obvious. There's a possibility that the worksheets or spreadsheets that you're going to use, they have been developed by other people. And maybe at your level, all you need to do is to approve or to go through. So you may be compelled to audit the formulas. And this is what we do. Excel, I think in 2013, from 2013 going to the latest now, they have come up with a very smart function, which is formula text. Those days, the way we used to do it, Victor, would come in here. If I want to have this formula, then I'll press in the formula bar and press the hyphen. This, I don't know, this thing there on top. Then I'll leave it like this. Then this is the formula. Then I'll know that this is the formula that is in here. But then Microsoft, they have done a good job. They have created a formula, a function called equals formula text. And all you do, you just go in that cell where there's a formula and you press like this so that you're able to check the formula. This is a latest inclusion, so to say, by Microsoft. I think they brought it in 2013 also. And most people don't know that it is there.
Okay.
Okay, so.
By most people, you mean including us?
Yes, including you.
Now we know.
Yeah. This is why I was saying that now you even know that you can still do all those things you do on WhatsApp by just pressing the Microsoft key and the full stop. And you have all these things that you can play around. You can even create formulas with this. And this trick, Kawaba, you can use it on any Microsoft platform or program. You can use it on Outlook. You can use it in Word. You can have this.
Oh.
So, navigating without a mouse, you'll find most of the people, especially those that are in investment banking, they play around with Excel. The efficiency they show, they are quite fast and they don't use the mouse. So just to show you, one of the things that you can do to navigate without a mouse, obviously, is issues of using the Control Shift and the arrow keys. If I'm here in January, I've seen people, they want to go up to July doing like this. I hope you haven't been a victim of that. I've seen people doing like this. But all you can do, if you want to go down, you can hold the shift, you can hold the control key at the same time and press the down arrow key. It takes you up to the last cell, which has text, or to a non-blank cell, the last non-blank cell. If I'm here, I would hold Control Shift and press the arrow key. That is it on the right side? I'll do like that. Or I'm here, I've seen people trying to come up where you have a table and they do like this. They're basically wasting their time. I can be in any cell. All I need to do is to press Control Out. Sorry, let me just come here. I can be in this cell and press Control Out. Or I can be in here, I can press Control Out. As long as there's data is anywhere in here. If I data, for example, I data there, if I do like this, it will not, but if I had data in all these things in here, then I can use Control A, because then I'm saying I'm picking the whole table. But any text, any cell with text here, if I'm in July, I can press Control A and I'll be able to highlight the table. I don't need to go and physically do this. I don't need to do this. I'll be wasting a lot of time. Then there's also, you can actually use certain tricks to display the formula in each cell. And we normally do it when we are auditing financial models, or there's just something, someone has given you a spreadsheet. Most of these spreadsheets, you'll find that they are in areas where they're not supposed to be hard-coded. Hard-coded meaning that you have just superimposed a number or whatever. Yet it's supposed to be a linked cell, picking from a different cells. So what we do is, when you receive a financial model and you're taught to audit, or even if you're not taught to audit, you want to acquaint yourself to this model that you've been given on a spreadsheet, you can use the display the formula functionality to display all the formulas so that you're able to see which area has been hard-coded. So thank to Microsoft again, we can use a shortcut called Control Tilde. Tilde, if you check, I don't know how you call it, but it's called Tilde from Matilda, which is just a key below the escape key. So all you do, Victor, you hold Control and press Tilde. Just press Tilde and release. So it will show wherever there are formulas, it will show where the formulas are. It will show the formulas, not where the formulas are, but it will show the formulas. Where it is hard-coded, it is definitely going to show that as well. So especially for you as Victor, that you receive these spreadsheets from your juniors, it is very, very important that you try to check where did they just put numbers, where did they put the formulas. You find that maybe each cell, maybe there's a particular worksheet where it should just receive formulas, a linked cell, yet someone went and superimposed a number because maybe couldn't balance or wanted to play some tricks on you. So you can, if you want to revert again, you press Control tilde like this. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to use the shortcuts, you can still go to formulas on top and go to show formulas here like this. So you can do that and change, go back to show formulas. Then the other thing is that do not believe anything that you see in spreadsheets. If you see a number such as 5 here, do not believe, do not just go on and assume that this is a 5. You will find that you have a very smart accountant who is a wrong accountant, so to say. And he knows that the Victor goes through the spreadsheets to check on interest. So, for example, you have transport there. Transport, just type maybe 50. You have maybe subsistence. Maybe 23. You have maybe, what else? Labor costs, whatever they are. Here, obviously, we're talking about remuneration. Maybe you have 100. What other costs? Maybe admin costs. Maybe 120. Then there's just for the impress or whatever, I don't know how you would call it. Maybe it is 25 there. But what this guy, and you have all this, imagine it's just about maybe 100 rows of data. And there's a total down here, 318. But all you're doing as a supervisor, you are checking line by line. You have even a bank statement or some kind of, whatever it is, I don't know, some source document to compare the numbers in here and those that you have on your hard coded, on your hard copy. But this guy, he knows that he misappropriated a 5/4 from this imprest. The original number that is there is 20. But he knows that you have the hard copy, which shows 25. So what this guy is going to do, Victor, is going to mask this number. And this is how you mask it. And I'll show you how to unmask. So you press Control and press 1. This is one of my favorite shortcuts. I know we'll be looking at that shortcut in the next few minutes. I will talk about this shortcut. I like it. Control 1, which is basically Control, then 1. So you hold the Control, then you press 1. So I'm in here. I want to mask this number, Control 1. Then because Kavava, I don't want Kavava. I want to beat the system. So I'll go to number, go to custom. Here under general, I'll reduce this. I'll do this. Then inverted comma, then I'll type 25, then inverted comma. So I've masked it. So this is what is going to be seen in that cell. You'll be able to see the 25 which you want to see because you are using a hard copy against my Excel to try and check whether I've gotten it correctly. But I know that I got this 5/4. I used it for other things personal, outside my mandate or outside what is supposed to be done. I use it for my personal things. So I'll put inverted comma. I'll put that number you want to see and inverted comma. Then press OK. So it will show 25 because I am not worried with the total here. I can still manipulate this total. I can also mask it if I wanted. So if I come in here, I know that this is short of 5. So if it's short of 5 as well, I can take it to, I can mask it to 318. So I can do Control 1 and come there and do the same thing, Kawawa, and show 318, because this is what you want to see, the total down there. And I know there are 100 transactions. So all you're interested in is to check the total down there and check the numbers as you're ticking them. That is all you're interested in. But you know what I've done? I've masked this number on Impress. I've also masked the total down there. And because I know that you demand for these spreadsheets and you're very meticulous, so I know. So I'll give you what you want to see. But that is not what is there. So if you go in here, for example, for the formula, the advantage that you'll not be able to see that I've manipulated. But for those that are hard-coded, the hard-coded number, if you get in that hard-coded number, it will show that the native number in that cell is 20, is not 25.
20, okay.
But I've blindfolded you to show you that 25. And obviously, you will not be going to the formula bar to start checking on all these things.
Yes.
Or you're just saying, oh, there's Impress here 25. Oh, okay. And you'll be shy if you find you check here 25, you check in the formula bar is 20. You'll not even know that this is connected to that. Because you haven't been at the academy. You haven't been at our academy. So you won't know.
Now we are at
Yeah, now at the Royal Academy, so you know.
Interesting.
So I always tell people that whenever you have such a situation, change these numbers, go back to the format, to the actual format, the default format. All you do, you highlight this. Or whatever, wherever you have numbers, you can even highlight the whole workbook to change so that it gives you those default numbers. Then you go to home. When you go to home, you go to clear and you say clear formats. You just press on clear formats, the whole workbook. So whatever formats they have put in there to crook you, you can do that and it will show like this. Because you are working with people who can be crooked. Especially if it's an issue of money, you will find the people who will start actually developing some appetite to manipulate the system. And maybe they've been at the academy, so they've left this trick.
I was about to say that. It might not have been away during the academy.
Until they came to the academy.
So this is just one of the tricks that you can use to unmask. So you just go there, you say clear whatever, or you go into one of the cells, assuming that the cells, if it was like this, you'll know that Excel has, if I click here, for example, for the new, if I'm worried that this whole worksheet has been manipulated, I can still click on the new worksheet. Sorry, I'm here to show you a shortcut, sorry. So you just press Shift F11. Shift F11, it's a shortcut to insert a new worksheet. You press Shift, then you hold Shift, then you press the F11 key. That is a shortcut to create or to insert a new worksheet. Control N is a shortcut to create a new workbook. You hold Control, then you press N, it opens a new workbook. So I can open a new worksheet, or if I am convinced that this column hasn't been manipulated, I can press that. Then I can pick the brush, format painter, and repaint in here. So I would have taken these numbers to the default settings, and I'll be able to see wherever one actually played some tricks on me. So in short, do not believe what you see in a spreadsheet. They could be highly manipulated for your eyes.
Okay.
So we have looked at the Control Shift arrow keys. We have also looked at the Control tilde. Actually, it's Control tilde is pronounced as tilde, from Matilda, which if you don't want to use that, you can go to formulas and use the show formulas. Then there's another thing that I use mostly for when I'm developing the integrated financial statements, especially on the balance sheet. Or if I'm not developing, maybe I'm updating the balance sheet, and now I find a situation where the balance sheet is not balancing. Say
Hello.
hi. Say hi to Uncle Victor.
Hi, Uncle Victor.
Okay, bye.
He didn't answer.
Oh, he didn't answer. Okay, so okay. He was on mute.
Hi, baby. How are you? Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Uncle Victor.
Hi, baby. How are you? Pretty baby. You've grown from the last time I saw you when I came home. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Regards to mom.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Now
you.
you can go and do your thing. Okay, so there's another thing that you can use. It's very important too. I always call it CCTV. It's not CCTV, obviously. It's called watch window, but I use it in most of my modeling. Imagine you have these numbers here. You have these numbers, and we use it mostly in the balance sheet. I'll put these numbers. Let me just put these numbers. 23, 14, 12. Just type in a new worksheet. 13, 14, 12.
Okay.
So these numbers, then maybe here under the efficient tricks, maybe go into I1, just type 2, just type 2. Just type 2. I bought you an iPad, so I can give you my phone. Type 2, then go to sheet 2, say equals, go to efficient tricks and pick that 2 there in I2. Then you can say equals, we do like this. We have that 2 there, just as an example. So you have 23, 14, 12. Then you have this 2 which is linked on all the columns, the 3 columns. Then here now, maybe we can say, for example, this could be just a factor, whatever factor it is. These are quantities. Maybe we say quantity. This is price. Then down here we have revenue. So under revenue, you can highlight. This is a shortcut which you can do as well. I don't know if it's a shortcut or what. You want to multiply this 23 by 2, but you don't want to get in here so that you say you do like this 23 times 2. Then now you highlight or you copy like this. You don't want to waste that time. All you have done is that you have highlighted this whole thing. Then you press equals. Then you pick in D6 the quantity, which is 23, times in D7, which is 2, well, it is highlighted. Then you press Control. You hold the Control key, Kababa, then press Enter like that.
Okay.
Mm.
Mr. Kapepe, when you just go on top on the price, how have you kept the efficiency trick for the other two under the 14 and the 12?
What I could have done, because I haven't yet shown you on how to do the locking. So what I did, these two,
Yes.
these two, they picked from here.
Oh, okay.
I could do like this. The same trick that I've done here, where I can do like this. I can highlight this whole thing up to there, then press equals, then pick 2 like that, and press Control D. Control Enter, sorry. So this is how I've managed to hold it. But in the next, now when you start looking at Excel functions and formulas, the other worksheet, I'll explain on absolute referencing, I'll explain on relative referencing, I'll explain on mixed referencing.
Okay.
Now you have these numbers. This is what happens. Yet you are this side. You are on this worksheet. What you have seen, most of the people, what they do, Victor, you're working in here, you go and check how the results are happening this side, you go back to efficiency, you go to this worksheet, you can use a CCTV. Obviously, it's not called CCTV by Microsoft, but I always call it CCTV. So this is what you can do. You want to watch what is happening in this worksheet on specific cells. And this is very handy when you are looking at balance sheets. So as you're changing inputs, you find that if you haven't well modeled it, your balance sheet stops balancing. Now you don't know where the problem happened. You don't know which input caused that imbalance. So what we do is that you put your watch window the other side. As you are inputting in your model, you're able to see, if you see that there's a change, it is not balancing, then you know that it is just this specific line where I did not do it correctly. So this is what you will do. You go back to efficiency tricks. You go to formulas. Under formulas, you go to watch window. This. You can see there are even glasses. This is basically a camera of some kind. So, sorry, this was on the balance sheet there. I was trying to check the balance sheet to make sure that's balancing. So I've removed that. So you can press on watch window, add watch. Then you go to the worksheet which you want to be watching. So in this case, I'll go to the first D9 on revenue. Again, I'll say add. I'll go to sheet 3. I'll go to this. I want to be watching this as I do my thing. Come in there and do that. So I'm working in the efficient tricks. I can even go to this other worksheet, and whatever I do, all I'm interested in is the bottom line here. I want to see what is actually going to cause these things to change. Like say in energy, when we are looking at the power balance. I want the power balance because the power balance, obviously, I want it at any given time to balance. I don't want it to go into deficit. If it goes into deficit, then it should trigger imports. So I know that we have generation component, all our power stations, the major power stations, the mini hydros. From the generation, then I go now to the purchases under the independent power producers, even for the subsidiaries or joint ventures. Then to show the total energy that has actually been planned. Then now you go to your demand where you have your exports, where you have your mines and these other large contracts. Then you go to distribution. So at any given time, I don't want to see the deficit in my plans, because if that deficit comes in, there should be a formula that should trigger imports. But maybe I haven't done it correctly. So this is why I'm trying to show, to make sure that I don't get any deficit there. So if I change this number here, I'm able to see automatically how these numbers are changing. If I change it to 7, I'm able to see how these numbers are changing. So I know at any given time when I'm inputting this data, and a point where there'll be mismatch, then I know it's on this. Then I go back. I don't need to redo the whole thing. So this is why it is important having the watch window. I call it CCTV. It helps me to check what is happening in all this. I don't necessarily need to go into this as I'm working on this worksheet. So this watch window, it is able to accommodate as many as possible. Victor, finger sense, huh?
Yeah, it's making sense.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, on the watch window here, so in between sheet and sheet, where it's written name here, between sheet and the cell, are you able to put, let's say, hypothetically, like they're saying, if it's a balance sheet or whatever item, generation power stations, so are you able to put the names that, oh, this is Musonda, small hydros, this is KGL, this is, are you able to put them, like that way you know which, because obviously it gives you sales, but not the hypothetically the stations that those figures affect.
Yeah, but then now the problem that you're watching that specific what, because then what I have to do, it does not join these two.
Okay.
It does not join and so on the what one. But I know for sure that all these, they are coming from what I'm looking at is the bottom line for these power stations.
Line, yes.
So all I'm interested in is to check where I'm going to get a negative number as an input. Then I know that I need to actually bring in imports. Where I get a positive number, maybe this is why I need to bring in exports so that I'm able to sell part of that power. But they are so handy for me when I'm looking at the balance sheet, because I have this model with the balance sheet. Maybe this balance sheet is projected because we normally project for 20 years or so. And there could be some areas where it's not balancing. So as I input this data and I'm doing my modeling, I'll have some areas where I don't get it right. So I will need to know that, oh, here I haven't gotten right because it's not balancing. I have to go back and try to remedy the formula.
Oh, I understood.
Then there's the other thing that again I've seen in many times where you have all these worksheets. What you just need to do is to make sure that the formula that you're calculating here, whatever you're doing in here, you're actually mirroring in all these worksheets. It's a template of some kind. So I've seen a situation where people will do the same thing here in the same cell. They'll go into the other worksheet, they'll do the same thing. They'll go to this, they'll do the same thing. They'll go the other side, they'll do the same thing. So here, what we can do, while you are just in the efficiency tricks, you can press Control key and take your cursor, say to sheet 3 here, click on that sheet. You'll see it turns to a milk white of some kind. Click on navigation. Click on legend if you want it. Okay, so maybe we can just have these 3 as an example. You have efficiency, you have sheet 3, you have navigation. Check what I'm going to do here. If I go in N and I write Kawawa, then I come in here and I say, this is 2. In N, in O, it is 4. In P, I'll multiply 2 times 4. I'll do like this. I'll enter. So what I've done here, it has replicated in all the worksheets that I had highlighted. I don't need to go back and start doing in sheet 3 the same thing, navigation and all these other things. So if I come here to sheet 3, I'll be able to see this is what has also been copied with the formulas. If I go to navigation, this is the same thing that I've done. Yes, Victor.
Yeah, so you said you do what? I think I'd lost it.
Okay,
You said you hold control.
You hold control. You hold control. Then you obviously you move your cursor to the worksheet that you want. Then you click. It turns into white or milk white, whatever you may want to call it. You go to another worksheet which you want to replicate whatever you have in the other worksheet. You come like this.
Okay.
So if I do this, then in A1, say for example, if I'm in A1, I can type www.royconsultadvisory.com. I can do something like this. So meaning that in all these worksheets that I've highlighted are of the same thing.
So basically, whilst you're doing that, whilst you're typing, are you still holding?
No. After you've highlighted, sorry. After first you are in this efficiency tricks. You hold control, you press sheet 3. You go to navigation, you press whatever worksheets that you want to highlight. Then once you are done, you release your control key. You can see now my hands are free from the keyboard.
Yeah.
Right. But if you check, you will see that there are certain worksheets that have been highlighted.
Yes.
So in this case, there's efficiency, there's sheet 1 and navigation. Legend is not highlighted because I don't want to put anything there. So if I come here in D1 and type Zambia, I'm able to see it in sheet 3 and navigation in all those worksheets that I have highlighted.
Okay, bye.
Okay, good. Okay, that was just a bonus. That was a bonus. Now we have looked at the control shift arrow keys. We have looked at the control tilde. Now we got my favorite function or shortcut, sorry, not function. My favorite shortcut called control 1. Whenever I'm in Excel and I'm working on anything, it is very rare that I don't use this operation, control 1. Control 1 helps in accessing all formatting options. For example, I should get back where you have said these numbers. Do not do this at control shift. If you have these numbers, like in this case, I know others would go like this as first option you want to highlight. Others would hold shift control, then down arrow key because this is what I've shown you. But if you have these numbers, wherever you are, you can still press control A and you'll be able to highlight them. You look like a pro when you are not. Now that you have highlighted, but it helps in terms of the efficiency. It does help. So wherever you have these numbers, wherever, whether it's text is what. Don't start highlighting, just press Control A. Or you're saying select all. That is what basically you're saying. If I'm in an empty sheet like here, if I press Control A, I'll highlight the whole worksheet. If I press like this, I highlight the whole worksheet. So I don't need to go there to come here and highlight the whole worksheet. Wherever I am, I'm comfortable. I can do whatever I want to do. So I can just press Control A like this. But if I'm where there's text, the moment I press Control A, it highlights just that portion of text or a range. Kawava, is it okay?
No, it is. It is.
Now that we have highlighted this thing, we want to use the formatting options. So you press Control, then you hold Control, then press 1. This is my favorite function. Operation, sorry, not function. So it helps you to access all formatting options. So here I can go to alignment, I can go to font, I can go to border. Mostly we would use it to do the borders. I can use that and do that. I can change this side. I can have this. That side, I can have that, just as an example. Here, I can come there, can have something like this. After coming up with these crazy borders, obviously don't do these borders, there's no meaning in them. You can go to Fill and change, pick a much lighter color, maybe gray, and press OK. So I have something like that. But Control 1 helps because it opens all the doors of formatting, all the doors. So I can go to numbers, do my formatting. Yes, Victor?
Yeah, let me take you back a bit on the where we're supposed to duplicate. So it means that even the formula, you're able to duplicate in
yes,
the
you're
other
able to
sheets
duplicate.
when you hold Control.
Yes, you're able.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
Sure. Kawawa, is it okay?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So we now go to another function you can use, which is F5, applying appropriate formatting options. But maybe before you go there, you can also use a function, a key F7 for spell check. For example, if I write love like this, I write it wrongly. I can get in there and press F7. That is to assume that I don't know what it is. I can do like this and I'll say change. Then I'll just do that. So meaning that do not get worried in Excel if you are getting it wrongly in terms of spellings. There's F7 which you can use. It will analyze the whole worksheet and find wherever wrong spellings you did.
Makes sense, because Excel usually causes people to just bring out very wrong grammar. So whatever.
So now you know.
Okay.
that you can use F7 key. It will help you.
Yeah. Just say, "Tap, can you go to F7 there and correct that thing?" Okay.
There's another thing. It's just a bonus. Now I've remembered. It's just a bonus. There's a situation where we normally get things. Say you're getting from PDF or from Word, and you're putting text in Excel. For example, you can do something like this, where you're saying, let's say Zambia is a country endowed with so much minerals and water. It has arable land. I don't know what arable land is. I don't know spelling. Otherwise, I'll go to F7. Okay. Well, let me say just fertile, just fertile land. Fit for growing. I wanted to say for growing cocaine, but to say for growing vegetables. So now you have something like this, Victor, but you believe that it is quite long. So what you have seen, and mostly what happens is that you get this, you copy maybe this type of text from PDF or from Word. It is long. All you want is that you want it to fit just in here. This is your area where you want your text to be. Let me just highlight it in here. So you can see already that it has gone outside the borders, outside your parameters, your set parameters. So mostly what people do, I'm sure this is what you all do. They would come somewhere here and do something like this. Cut.
And double click.
Once they come, then they bring it something, then they paste it like that. I don't know if you have faced such a thing. Yet Excel has a facility that you can use. You can just highlight how many rows that you want this thing to fit going down. Because the sentence is long, it has gone beyond the set parameters where you want text to be placed. So you can highlight that. I hope you have done it, Kababa.
Yes.
Then now you can go to home.
Okay.
Under home, you can go to this code field. If you don't see it written there, you will see a blue arrow downwards.
Okay.
You go to the drop down arrow, then you go to justify. You just press justify. So it has justified. Just cut for you. You don't need to necessarily start cutting. And this happens mostly when you're getting this data from Word, from PDF, from all these other things.
Okay.
So all you do is that even when you're typing in Excel, just type, don't worry, just type. Afterwards, just highlight and go to fill, go to justify.
Because for me, I would actually even just merge and center. That's what I used to use.
Now you're at the academy, you don't need to do all those things. Leave them to those that are not at the academy.
Academy, understood. Okay. All right. The
other thing again, sorry, there are a lot of bonuses. These are not part of the bouquet. Since you bought the Z World, these are not part of. It's not a full bouquet. The other thing is, I've seen a situation where people do this. One, then maybe type 2 or 1 plus 1, then go like this. Say you are going up to 100, then you start doing like this. Or imagine you're going up to 1,000, you start doing like this. So what you can do, you can just get in here, press type 1, go into that same cell, are you there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Then go to home.
Okay.
Under home, go to fill.
Okay.
Then go to series.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So here you have the rows and you have the columns. Then you have the step value, the one that you want to start with is the 1. What would be your stop value? Suppose you want to go to up to 690, for example, you type 690. Then you press OK. So that is in rows. It takes you in rows, it takes you up to 690. If it was columns again, you do the same thing. You go to home, you go to fill, you press on series, then you type 690. But then you take it to columns, meaning that it's just in one column, not in rows, and you press OK. It takes you up 690. You don't need to drag it down. So it takes you up there. Victor, is it okay?
Yes, I'm following.
Mm-hmm. Again, another bonus. I know today it will be just full of bonuses. Another bonus which you can use, I know as we move on, we'll be looking at data manipulation functions that we can use to manipulate data, or what they call data wrangling, is a skill in data analytics or data analysis. But we can instead of using functions, that times when you can just use certain operations. Let's just do this. We type, say, for example, we type countries. We say we have Zambia. Then open bracket under Zambia. I type, say, for example, 103. I come there, I type Zimbabwe. Again, space, maybe I type 209, close bracket. Then I go to Malawi. I'm avoiding Botswana, sometimes I don't get it right in terms of the spelling. So type 210. Namibia. Space 500. Say you have all these numbers. You have the countries and their codes, but they're in brackets.
Okay.
And this happens in data manipulation most of the time. You have issues, maybe you're getting this information from SPMS, whatever program it is. You want to separate, all you want is to have just Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and all these things. So if I'm in here, I can type Zambia, for example, or copy Zambia.
Okay.
So I can copy Zambia, and imagine you have countries about 150 with these codes, but you don't want these numbers the other side. I know if I was to use functions, I can use data manipulation functions to doing that. But all I want to do this work quickly. So I'll type Zambia and I'll highlight up there. Just highlight after I've typed Zambia. Maybe this will be the last bonus.
All right, I've highlighted.
Then press Control E. Hold Control and press E.
Okay.
So for you, Kawawa, mostly when you're getting this trial balance, you find that it is scrambled. The data is not in very good pattern, especially on the project when you're picking the project listing.
Yes.
So you can use these techniques. So Control E. If you don't want to, if you have forgotten the function, all you do, all you do, if you have forgotten the function, again, you just highlight like this. If you have forgotten the shortcut Control E, you can still go to home again. Go to home, then go to fill, and go to flash fill, and press there. So to do that, it is able to predict more of an artificial intelligence. It knows what you're trying to do.
Hello, Fizz.
Hello, yes, Victor.
Yeah, so should this this particular cell, should it be next, the column, should it be next to where we have the other data?
Okay, let's just do this. I think it should, but I think it is able to predict. I don't think so, but let me just try.
Okay.
I don't think so. If I do like this, Control A, yes, it should be next.
Oh, okay. So it should basically be next here.
Yes.
Otherwise, if it's far off, then it shouldn't be, it won't look at the data, right?
Yes, it will find the blanks here and it will get confused. Unless if I'm using a formula, which will be trained when we start looking, there will be a topic on data manipulation. I'll just do this and say equals. Equals find. I just want to show you, not that you should do it. This is how I'll be able to use, if I'm to use the formula.
Okay.
This is what I would use. You will learn all these things, guys. So this is what I'll do using a formula. But then with that thing that I've shown you, you don't need to use a formula. When I are here, you just type Zambia.
Yeah.
And highlight and press Control E. It will give you the same results. Hello?
All right. So then, Fitzpatrick, what about the numbers there? Is there a way also to separate those from?
Yes, these numbers from here, let me do that. If I'm here, I can do this. For example, First, let's try the first one where with brackets, it should be very easy. If I do like this and say 103, like this, I'm able to get these numbers. You have seen, eh?
Okay, yes.
But say, for example, I just want to pick, I don't want to pick those brackets, and I just type 103. Would I still be able to get that? Control E, I'll still be able to get that. It's a very smart code. It's more or less like it's some artificial intelligence of some kind.
Intelligence. Okay.
This Excel, you underutilize it, Victor.
Yes, we do enjoy utilize it. You're right.
So for Kawawa, especially when you're doing those account payables or account analysis, you pick this data from whatever, you can use these flash fill techniques and you'll be able to extract the data that you want. It is able to predict, you'll be able to predict what you are trying to do. And you clean up your data. But the time that you'll be looking at data wrangling or in data manipulation, you'll be looking at data manipulation functions like the one that I've shown you there.
Okay. I've actually even seen, Service Patrick, when you're typing icon the Zambia, you don't even need to highlight the cells coming down.
Yes.
If you just type in Zambia and
then
you
it
press
comes, because
Control
that's why they
E,
call it flash fill.
Okay. Oh, flash fill. All right. Okay. Because I did it accidentally, then I've seen it. It's still brought down there without highlighting the. Okay.
Okay, so I know tomorrow you are supposed to be resting, so we can meet in the evenings tomorrow. I'll be out of town, so we can meet in the evenings so that we continue from F5. I don't want to dose you with a lot of things. At least 1 hour, about 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, it's okay. I'll post this. You have a video even on the website and YouTube just to check in case you have missed one or two things. So we still have a lot of things to look at in terms of the Excel part before we start going to data analysis, financial modeling, and many other things. Yeah, but yeah. So what we do at our academy, when you are done with class, you don't just check out and go. Even when you go to whatever, you have to check out properly. Meaning checking out properly, you have to say things probably that amaze you, the experiences that you have had with the class, maybe new things that you thought you knew, but maybe you've learned them in a different way, and just some takeaways. So we'll start with Victor. Check out Victor.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that has really amused me is the one where you duplicate, where you copy one particular maybe activity onto the 3 or 4 or so many other sheets without a lot of trouble, by basically holding control and then letting go, and then basically working on one which duplicates in the other sheet. Then not to say much. Also, maybe the flash fill. It's also something that is quite interesting, and also that you need to basically have this particular data next to each other, basically in one column and the next year. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor. Kawawa, check out.
Okay. For me, Patrick, I've learned and also remembered quite a lot. With the control, the clicking of all the control. If you want to copy data across different sheets, at least that for me is just a reminder, because previously when I was an auditor, if you had financial statements in Excel, you would use that to maybe just to put the company's name across each of the different document, statement of financial position. But then would have incidences where you forget to delink them, and then you start only to find you put it across all the sheets. So it was just a reminder of errors we made. But then with the shortcuts as well, I've learned quite a lot. Especially when I'm a culprit of using a mouse to highlight every time to highlight things. So at least the control A, especially on certain data, that has been something that I now know going forward. I don't always need to use a mouse. And also the control tied with formulas, because I work with formulas, but at times you have, you're saying, the situation where maybe numbers have been inputted instead of a formula being linked to a document. So the control type at least will also come in handy in being able to see what is actually a number and what is a formula. Because for me, then I would have to go through each and every box wherever a formula is calculated to check and see inside if there's a formula. Yeah. So it's been quite eye-opening. I've learned quite a lot, which at least would reduce on the number of minutes and hours spent verifying information.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I don't know what time, but in the evenings, I think it's appropriate for me. Maybe, I don't know, 18?
When you say evening, you mean what? 18?
Yeah, I mean 18.
Yeah, I think 18 is better tomorrow. 18 to probably 19
somewhere there.
Yeah. So that, we leave time for other things.
Absolutely.
What are your issues? If you've got no other life, if you don't have a life, you should get one.
No, I obviously I do. So obviously I do. So we have a 1 hour class tomorrow. Like I said, to be a very long period. I will show you all the techniques that you need to learn. Before we start talking about financial modeling, I think we need to understand Excel.
Yes.
So bye-bye and see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for today's class. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Fizz.
All right,
Don't get to post again. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Oh, then Mr. Fitzpatrick. Also, I'm not sure if on the website you've on the corporate, on the forums, when I last tried to get in, I wasn't able to. So
but have you registered?
Private.
Have you already registered, Kawawa, on the website?
Yes, I have. Even
okay. So I'll give you access. Just after this, I think I'll just check on the website and I'll give you access to the corporate financial models. There we can be discussing on a number of things, even this particular video. Yeah, the first will actually also plug it there. There will be a lot of stuff.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, and most of the financial models that have been done by gurus out there, I'll be sending them so that you just have time to look at them and we discuss how they've been modeled. That's just very important. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye. We are very organized at the academy. There's website, there are all these other things happening. You even have an app, imagine.
No, definitely. I was perusing everything. So I was saying, no, it's a full package. It's a premium bouquet.
Yeah, it is. Okay, see you tomorrow. Thank you.